Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, the second part of our Legend series with the Hibs legend, Pat Stanton. I'm delighted that he's joined us in the studio on the couch, and well worthy of his place in our Legends section. We've been talking about his career, breaking into that Hibs side, and of course many memorable battles with Celtic. And of course, if you're in the city of Edinburgh and having lived there and know exactly the way people's minds think, Roughie, the derbies are always special.
Yeah, they certainly are special, there's no doubt about that, and to certainly win in the manner that Pat did, it will always be in the record books, and that's what the fans look back at.
Yeah. 1st of January 1973, did you feel that was Hibs at their peak, or were they about to get even better?
I think just earlier on we had played Aberdeen and we had beat Aberdeen. I think it was either just 1-0 or 2-1 at Easter Road, and it should have been 6 or 7. Aberdeen were lucky to escape. And but I can remember Jimmy O'Rourke saying to me, you know, somebody's going to catch it. And see what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and in that point, I mean, winning against your great rivals and you know from the west end of the city is fine, but I mean you were 5-0 up at half time. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, what was going through your minds?
Well, but being a Hibs supporter all your days, and on New Year's Day you're 5 up at Tynecastle, like just a dream, really, you know. But Eddie didn't, you know, at half time Eddie Turnbull stressed it. He says, you know, this game is only half over, you know, even though it was 5-0. He says, these lads through there have got their pride and they'll come at you, and which they did. He says, but if you just sit, you know, he says, don't defend, don't go too far back, but just sit, they'll come at you, and then just wait. And that's what happened. We got another couple, but they came at it. If we'd have gone out thinking, oh, this is the game's finished, we wouldn't have, would have been the wrong approach for the second half. And on top of that, I don't think the Hearts would have wanted it any other way. We could have gone out and maybe just knocked a ball around and just, you know, just took the steam out of the whole thing. But I don't think the Hearts would have liked that. I think they'd prefer us to really go at them like we had done. And that's, well, we didn't do it to start with because they came into it, but we got the chances later on. But we certainly never at any time tried to make a fool of them. Yeah,
and the game itself, I think, is special for Hibs fans. When I think of the goal scorers, I think O'Rourke got 2, Gordon got 2, Duncan got 2, and Cropley got a volley from the edge of the box. I mean, it was just a special game, Roughie.
Well, special players, you know, at their peak, you know, as well. And it's not easy when you come up in a derby game to go. It's difficult enough trying to win them, but to win them in that kind of manner just shows you how good the players were.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, from your own point of view, you're in a talented team. People are noticing you. You've scored in crucial games as well. 16 caps, am I right in thinking, for Scotland? It could have been so much more, but as we can see here, oh look, Roughie, it's the classic Argentina, the Umbro down the side. I remember it well.
What year was that, Pat?
Oh, shudder to think, Alan.
I think that might have been 76. You know, with this design here.
It may have been.
You were lucky you just missed Argentina then. You must have been in the running then.
Probably just on the verge of things.
Yeah. Who was at your peak? Who were you battling against to try and get into the Scotland side?
Oh, I think at my time, you know, you had people like Billy Bremner, John Gregg, Bobby Murdoch. People like that era.
If you were playing at the back, Martin Buchan.
Martin Buchan is another one, a lot of good players.
Yeah. Did you enjoy being away from taking out of the Hibs situation into the international setup?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it, and I got to know players that you just played against every Saturday. Well, you played against them the odd time, you know, every so often, and you maybe didn't like them.
Yes.
But then you got to meet them at that level, and you say, "Well, nice, you know." My idea of that player was wrong. He's a really nice chap, you know. Yeah. It was good. You mixed well.
Yeah, I was like that with Roughie as well, Pat. You know, you get this impression in your head, and then all of a sudden, you know, he changes it for you. Tell me about the European nights as well, because you know, there's lots of clubs from the 60s when we think about Dunfermline as well. It's some great nights. Obviously, Rangers and Celtic have them, but you guys played against some really good teams and got some good results as well.
That's right. I can remember playing it wasn't a European tournament, but I played when just prior to Juxin leaving us, and playing Real Madrid at Easter Road. We beat them 2-0. But to be on the park, you know, Ferenc Puskas is just standing about 15 yards away from you. You know, and all these great players.
Yeah.
And I can remember, you know, it's a tough game, you know, and Puskas went over the ball to me, you know, and he caught my ankle, and you know, he cut it. You know, there was I didn't want that to stop bleeding. You know that. I wanted to be able to walk about Craig Miller showing him. Puskas did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you sign this?
Could you say?
But what year would that be? That was
60 now.
64?
Probably be about then.
Yeah.
But to play against, you know, Real Madrid,
yeah,
you know, it's fantastic.
Did you get a shirt?
No, we got a watch. They gave us a watch.
They gave you a watch?
A Real Madrid watch. The emblem was on the face, you know.
You've lost that, haven't you?
Well, I don't know. There was times when things got tough out and Craig Miller, the pawnbrokers got it, I think, you know.
I tell you, one person who would still have it is Tam McNiven. Tam would still have his if he was there.
The Jack Benny of football,
That's great. I mean, you defeated Napoli 5-0. Dino Zoff was in goal.
Well, Zoff, yeah, but the scoreline, it was 4-2, I think, over there.
Yeah.
We had played well. We had played really well. And we didn't think it was a fair reflection on how the game had gone. Napoli came to Easter Road, and, you know, it was I don't think we scored. It was a wee while before we scored, and
yeah.
Bobby Duncan scored. Oh, tremendous. It would have went, you know, if I hadn't hit the net, it would have went out of the stadium, and it lifted the place. Had it just been a wee trundler,
yeah.
it wouldn't have had that effect, sort of lighting the fuse. And suddenly it was 4-3, and, you know, the people, something could be on here. It was 5-0.
Yeah. What about Leeds United? Even as, you know, in 73, I mean, okay, it's 0-0 in both legs. It's a penalty shootout.
Oh.
Does it rankle with you?
Yeah, it still does. But I was in the penalty taker, you know. But when that night when it went to penalties, and it shouldn't have gone to penalties, we should have beat them. And they were a great side. Billy Bremner.
They were at their peak.
Billy Bremner was outstanding. But they had great players, Norman Hunter and people like that. But when the manager was picking the five to take the penalties, and he pointed, and I thought there was somebody standing at my back at me, but I took the first one and it hit the post and didn't go in. But Billy Bremner, I think it was the last. Billy took the last one. It hit the bar and went in. But, so it was that. That's how close it was. But they never asked me again. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. Well, let's see. Before we go to the break, Pat, just on this, and it's a question I love asking people who've played at the top of the game in Scotland. Was there a particular player that you would love to have played alongside?
Coming from any era?
I don't mind.
I remember as a boy going to watch Hibs at Easter Road, and it was Leeds United that were playing. And this is way before the Billy Bremners and people like that. John Charles. I've never been so impressed with a player.
Yeah.
I think in the first half he played centre forward, and he was outstanding. And he was a big man. And in the second half he went to centre half, and he was outstanding again. And I've never been so impressed with a player. And it was no wonder he went to Juventus.
Yeah. That
was long before anybody moved around. But he was. I saw a lot of great players at Easter Road.
Yeah.
Great players.
Who was your toughest opponent that you thought, well, not only do I admire him, but he's got it all?
Playing against people. I always found Drew Busby a tough customer. Yeah. I always found Drew, Davy Robbie Aberdeen.
Oh, I remember Davy.
Jimmy Brogan of the Celtic, absolute nuisance.
Yeah.
But you know, Big Greggy at Rangers. But these guys didn't creep up behind you.
No.
You saw them coming.
That is such a great line, isn't it? I mean, but again, I mean, he's mentioned Jim Brogan, John Greig You know, just a measure of the men. They were hard men.
Well, that was the style of play then, wasn't it? When you went into a tackle, you tackled.
Oh, there was...
And, you know, that half of them couldn't play in the modern day because they were so committed to what they are. I mean, when I was at Hibs and I had Eric Shadler and I used to see Eric going for a tackle, I used to shut my eyes and wonder where the guy was going to end up.
Yeah, you could smell the anaesthetic.
Well, listen, coming up in the next part of the programme, of course, 13 seasons at Hibernian and rightfully accorded legendary status. There was a move to Celtic. We'll find out about that and how Pat Stanton completed his medal set. It's all coming up in the next part of the Football Show. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, this Legend Series, and it's Pat Stanton of Hibernian with us here in the studio. And I make no apologies, Roughie, for telling you that these are the type of shows that I enjoy. It's just wallowing in it and enjoying the chat.
It's an era, that Pat's already spoke about the teams, Napoli, Real Madrid. I mean, we don't see these teams now. It just shows you how much the supporters must have loved the game, and I suppose the attendances as well were full house, packed out, and it's just unfortunate we can't get back to where we were.
Yeah. How good was it for you strutting your stuff in the green and white of Hibernian, and all your mates? They must have been tremendously proud of you as well.
They were, yeah, they were. They probably didn't say it, but you could... They knew everything that was happening, you know. When you spoke to them, you knew they were following what was going on, and they were, you know, down that part of the country, they didn't pat you in the back much, you know.
No.
It's only the police do that.
there are about 4 one-liners in this programme that I'm going to take with me forever and a day. Now, obviously we've talked about, I think you got a couple of Driver Cups, you were playing the League Cup final as well. Got a win against Celtic in that too, but there was 2 medals that complete the domestic set for you. How did the move come about? Because did it surprise you, Celtic in '76?
Well, I wasn't at the time. It wasn't any secret. I wasn't seeing eye to eye with Eddie Turnbull as much as I admired his knowledge of the game.
Yeah,
just things were going to be a bit sour. Maybe I'd been at Easter Road too long. And then it was just I was meant to be playing at Tynecastle for Hibs Reserves.
Yeah.
And the phone went, and it was Eddie on the phone. Now, Eddie had never phoned me in his life.
Yeah.
And he just lived down the street from me. And I knew something was up, but I didn't know what was up. And all he said was, I've got Mr. Steen here to speak to you. And I knew right away, oh, there's something. And old Jock says, how would you like to come and play for Celtic? What a question that is, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said I'd be delighted. I just met him, signed for the Celtic, and it was funny when I was talking to him. I says, I hadn't played much. I'd missed a couple of games. I says, who do you play on Saturday? And he went, oh, what's their name again? Rangers.
I
mean, look at the photograph. Happy memories.
Oh yeah. It was a great time. You know, at that stage of my career, you sort of. No disrespect to teams, but you move down the leagues.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of your career, I went to Celtic.
Yeah. What age were you? 32, something?
I'd be about 32, something like that.
I mean, that even now, Roughie, is not considered. You know, you could, you know, for Pat moving back to centre half, you could play 36, 37 nowadays if you kept yourself in good nick. Were you a good trainer?
Yeah, I was. I remember a bit of advice I got early on in my career, and I think it was Eddie Turnbull, and it was true. He says, you know, if you're training, train with a good trainer, somebody who does the training. He says you can maybe latch on to somebody else who, if the trainer says to you do 20 press-ups, you only do 17, or if he tells you to run to a certain marker, you stop short. He says you'll take that on the pitch with you. It'll become part of your game.
Yeah.
You go past that marker, you do more that press-ups than I've asked you to do. He says, you'll take that on the pitch with you. And that was a piece of advice, that was.
Yeah, I mean, just little golden nuggets like that, Roughie, can rub off on you.
Yep, and obviously we'd add into that stay away for rookie, away for the football, and your career was a bit longer.
Unbelievable work, you know.
Yeah.
He was my roommate, a great player, but it's... you know, we're in San Francisco and we're looking at Alcatraz, and I said, just for a wee bit of luck, Jimmy, you could have ended up in there, you know. But,
Another one of those sliding door moments. As far as obviously you're in a Celtic dressing room, you go into it. I wouldn't imagine at 32 years of age, Pat Stanton is overawed. I mean, you're in there and you've got McGrain, you've got Dalglish in that side as well.
Aye. No, it's right. Lennox was still doing the stuff, and Alfie Conway was playing. I was made welcome in the dressing room. Terrific players, great players. You know, Bobby Lennox had won everything, and he still retained that desire to do well. You know, so, and I was what a move it was for me to go and play alongside these players.
Yeah, was there a feeling of pride when you go to Easter Road to literally clinch the title with Celtic? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, to think that, that's right, because to go there after having spent all your career at Easter Road, to go back to Easter Road on that particular day to clinch the title, I was nervous. I really was nervous. I think it was just 1-0, I think.
Yeah,
we beat them.
1-0.
And, Hibs played well, but we just hung on, and it was, what a relief it was, just to have won it, because like I said earlier, a lot of great players play other days and don't win anything.
Yeah, and the cup final completes the set. Have you still, tell me you've still got them in a nice safe place?
Oh,
with pride.
They're safe.
Yeah.
They're safe, aye. But
still got the jersey?
I've still got the jersey. Aye, my son's got the jersey. Aye, he thinks more of that Celtic jersey than he does a Hibs
jersey. What did it mean to you to complete the set?
Oh, it was. I could tell you that on the Sunday morning, my phone went, and it was O'Rourke on the phone. It must have been reverse charge for him, but he came on the phone. And he had won the 3 medals, the League Cup, the Cup and the League, and he says, "Well done," and put the phone down, and that was it. That was a conversation.
Wow,
well done. And for him to find time to phone me on a Sunday morning, it was like the president phoning you. You know, for work.
It just shows you. Some people could find it easy to get a compliment over, but just that call.
Yeah, we touches like that, and the thing about it is, Pat remembers them, and that's what happens when people do that. You remember these kind of things.
Can I ask you? I mean, we could probably spend another programme on it. Was there pride when you became the Hibs manager? What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was same again. It was great. It was to go back there as the manager, but. We were lucky. You'll think back though. You say it. There's something at the back of your head saying, "This is maybe not the right move." But if you don't go, you'll get asked again.
Yes.
We were lucky at that time. The thing is, Hibs had come through a sticky patch. From the time we were talking about, my time with Cropley and all them, to where they were at that time. But Hibs were lucky at that time to have the likes of McNamara and Callaghan and people like that. And one of the best signings ever made was Alan Rough.
Yeah.
Because these people kept us in the league.
How did you know that he was available? Because he always moans at me that he was on 6 and 7 year deals.
Pat, when I was with Partick Thistle, Pat asked me to play in his testimonial, Hibs versus Celtic at Easter Road as a guest.
You played really well.
I played it, and I went along that day, and I remember we were winning 1-0, and I says to Pat, I think Celtic were having a corner, and I said to Pat, "How do you want this game to end?" It's a testimonial. He said, "Make sure we win it."
Is that right?
That's right. But big Joe Jordan came up as well, and that was really something for him to come up.
Yeah.
But like I say, I met some great players, but more than that, I met some great people over the years.
Yeah.
I don't want to finish on a sad moment, but I need to ask you, when it all went wrong and you decided to, and I remember sitting in the dressing room that day at Motherwell when you never appeared. What was going through your mind then? I was
disappointed, and the thing is, I just, you get challenges. You do get that in the game. You get challenges in life, but I just felt to carry on wasn't the thing to do, and I felt sorry because the players were responding the best they could, We just didn't have enough to do well, and I just didn't see any lights at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Did it hurt you to have to make that decision?
It did. You've got your pride, Alan, and the the hardest sort of things is the pressures you put on yourself are the hardest ones to live with, I think. And I felt it was the right thing to do, and just say, no.
Here's a tough one for you. How would you like to be remembered as a player?
I always treated everybody the same. It didn't matter who you were playing. The team, say you were down in the Borders playing, say in a pre-season friendly, playing Hoyk or Gallifreydine, treat them the same as going to Celtic Park or Ibrox or Napoli or whatever.
Yeah.
Treat the opposition the right, and things will work out for you. You know, if you've got an attitude like that. But if you start dismissing people, you'll run into things. You know, you'll come a cropper when you least expect it.
Yeah, well, listen, I couldn't think of a better way to finish this programme. This, for me, is, you know, a labour of love. That was an absolute joy, Pat Stanton. I'd like to thank you for doing us the great honour of coming into the studio. That must have been even better for you, Roughie.
Yeah, great. I had the privilege, obviously, Pat is my manager, and that's something I'll always remember as well.
Great. Legend Series, Pat Stanton of Hibernian. Delighted that he was with us here on the couch in the studio. Hopefully you're enjoying this Legend Series on Peter Roughie's football show. From Roughie and myself, thanks for watching.